Hi guys, this is Myros. I am a forex trader. I trade the forex market and also the crypto market. And officially, this will be my first video I'll be putting out there. So here is the thing. I got involved with some discussions with random people on the social media X to be precise. And there were a couple of questions that they asked me regarding my view on the market and the way I approach it. And I decided to put it out here as an information. It might be very, very important to some persons out there, maybe people that are looking to see the market in the same way I see it, or people that need to understand how the market moves. So basically, this is just understanding how the market moves. So I'm going to explain the basic things that you need to know. If you follow to the end of this video, I think you are going to catch something very important that you can add to your diary of whatever you look at when you're doing your analysis. Okay, so this is not about strategy. I'm not talking about the strategy you trade or whatsoever. This is just the simple market movements, how the market moves, understanding how it moves. Whether you're trading ICT concepts, whether you're trading SMC concepts, whether you're trading alchemist concepts, whether you're trading pure price action, whether you trade whatsoever you trade, whether you trade patterns, market structures, whatever it is that you trade, I think this will be of a very good help to you because this is not fixed to any kind of strategy. This is just a simple way to look at the market and apply whatever strategy that you trade with, and you see yourself doing great in the market. Okay, so I'll be going into it and I'll try as much as possible to make this video very short and also to be very, very information packed. So you can click the subscribe button, like, and turn up the notification bell just to make sure you don't miss out on other videos I'll be posting from time to time right now. Okay, so let's get into the thing that we have for the day. So I will be pointing out three important ways to look at the market, or three important characters of the market. So we have uptrend, we have downtrend, and we have a balanced market. Balanced market can also be, you can look at it as similar. Let me use the word synonyms. You can look at it as a consolidations or indecision, right? Let me try as much as possible to simplify everything I'm saying so that even if you are a newbie, you can grab it, right? So the two major movements that are important in this thing I want to talk about is what uptrend and downtrend. I'm not talking about consolidations here because what we need to do is to understand where market is coming from, where it's going to, right? So basically, this is the diagram. This is what an uptrend looks like, right? So this is what we have. This is what an uptrend looks like, and this is uh, this is what downtrend looks like. Make sure you follow me to the end of this video if you don't want to miss out on any important thing I have to show you here. So these are the two major movements that we have. So for the uptrend is where the buyers have much what's it called, much power, okay, against the sellers, while the downtrend is the opposite of what the buyers are doing. So now, this is just a simple thing. If you notice, in the uptrends and downtrends, we have series of highs and series of lows, right? Series of highs and series of lows. As you can see here, for the uptrend, one notable fact about it is the highs always get rated, right? After a pullback. The highs always get rated after a pullback. And for the downtrend, the lows always get what? Raided after a pullback, right? Okay, so what do I mean by the highs always get raided? On a in an uptrend, we have what? We have a high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and so forth. While on a downtrend, we have a low here, we have a what? A lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. That is just the movement of the markets, right? So now, whenever a high is being rated for an uptrend, I'm talking about an uptrend now, right? Whenever a high is being rated for an uptrend, what do you expect? You expect a pullback into the range of that high and the low that was created as the recent ones. So for instance, here, this is the first high that was rated here. So it was taken out. This was the point where which it was taken out, right? Okay, what happened? You notice that market went ahead to create another high. Okay, after creating another high, what happened? The market pulled back into this range. Now, how do we know that that's a range? The low, this is the low, right? This is the low that took out the previous high. This low took out the previous high, and it was this same low that created a new high before a pullback occurred. So from this low to that new high that happened, it's your trading range. So now the pullback from the new high that was created is where we'll now have the new price leg that wants to continue pushing forward or pushing higher, right? So what happened? This low went ahead to take out an existing high. That's the most recent high, right? So this high has been taken out, and what happened? Now we have the current price action where the current price is right now. So what you expect is this becomes what? Your new low, right? How is it your new low? Or how is it, or why is it your new low? It is your new low because it has gone ahead to take out the high where it came from. That is the high that caused the what? The pullback. Now, not just only that, it is the low that did what? That pushed market upward to take out the high. So from here to here we are. So this becomes our new low. And whatever market does here now, whatever pullback it gives us here back into this range, it means that the new high becomes our current high. So if for instance market pulls back into this range from this current place where the price is towards anywhere around these levels, then this become our new high and this become a low. And you know the rule, these lows are meant to be protected. Okay, so what we want to see is price pulling back to somewhere around here, and then we want to see it push back upward to do what? To take out the new high that we have in the market, right? So we want to see something like this. And what does that mean? It means that this is the new high and this becomes the new low. Please, whatever I'm trying to explain in this video is strictly or is fixed or works better when you view it from a higher time frame. And I'm going to show you how I do that on a real time chart. So just follow through this diagrammatical example I'm giving you, and very soon we'll dive into the real time chart and you'll get to understand better. So on a higher time frame, we have less complex structures. These are the time frames where you see this kind of structures just break off structure to the upside, market pulls back and continues, pulls back and continues, and that the same thing happens both for uptrend and downtrend. right? Okay, now without having to explain a downtrend, let me go quickly into how I view my charts and find out areas where I can decide to start looking for my setup and also possible entries. Okay, it's very simple, not to complicate things. Remember, this works best on a higher time frame. Okay, so I'm going to go to now. If I want to start doing my analysis, there are time frames that I consider okay and cool for me. So I don't go anywhere above weekly time frame. I can just check the monthly time frame for maybe to see what's happened in the previous month and what price is doing currently in the current month. But because I trade daily or intraday, there are levels or there are time frames where I don't like uh, going to. Okay, so I believe that weekly time frame is enough of a high time frame to show you where the market is coming from and where it is heading to. And that's why most times I stick to it and then do my analysis based of the pattern I trade, right? So how do I do? I'm going to go to a weekly time frame and we'll see what we have. So we are going to work with this pair. This is AUD CAD, that's Aussie card. So this is a weekly time frame. So I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to go ahead and delete whatever I have here for the sake of this teaching and learning. Okay. So on a weekly time frame, see what we have on a weekly time frame. This is what we have on a weekly time frame. And as you can see, market has been on a downtrend for weeks, right? This is it. Market has been on a downtrend for weeks, right? And of course, you can see it's very, very clear on the chart. So, but I'm not going to zoom out to this weekly time frame to start looking for structures that I'm going to trade or patterns that I'm going to trade, because it means that I'm going to wait for a whole lot of, like, a whole long period just for me to get a trading opportunity, and I don't want to do that. So what I do when I zoom out of a higher time frame is I focus on the current place where price is. So you look at this my chart. This is the current place where we have price. This is the current price leg of this week, right? So this is the current price leg of this week. So what do I do? From the current candle, current weekly candle, I zoom out. I count backward to the last, to the previous weeks that we have, just 2 weeks before the current week that we are in, and I use my tool to uh, demarcate it so I can actually identify it when I start navigating down to smaller time frames, right? So here I'll have to use my vertical line to just map out the current week and 2 weeks before. That's in total 3 weeks. And I can see that we have, for the past 2 weeks, market has been what? Bullish, right? Obviously, market has been bullish. Now, the question is since market has been bullish, looking down to my left side, I'll ask myself, is market heading to any zone, whether support zone, whether you call it support zone or your demand zone. But what matters is a zone where can be seen as liquidity. Is market planning to take out any high, or has it taken out any high? Is it planning to take out any low? Regarding on whether the market is bullish or bearish. But in that case now, we have what? A bullish market here. And this is the obvious high that we have here, right? Now, we don't know if this market is heading for this obvious high yet. So we can only say, okay, let us focus on the very much uh, 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 conditioned price action that we have in our front. So we want to continue this price leg, right? We want to continue this price leg. So what do I do right now? I'm going to navigate down to lower time frame. So I'll go to my daily time frame. Okay, so this is a daily time frame, right? And from where I marked out the high on the left hand side, you can see that it is a supply zone having what another block there, or whatever you want to call it. So here we have series of highs that are inside it. These are the series of high that are inside of it, right? And we can see that price has already uh, reacted of the supply that we have at the left hand side. But remember, we are focusing on the weeks that we are. But the reason why it's always good to check in the previous, from the higher time frame, the previous from the left hand side, is to know if price has already gotten to where it's going from, because price move from point A to point B, right? Since price move from point A to point B, you don't want to start trading price when it has gotten to point B. You want to continue trading it back to. So what you expect is for price to go back to a point A and go to another point B, right? That's what you want to do. So since price has gotten to this point, what do I do? I'll look at what we have here. This is my daily time frame, right? So I can see that price has given us a structure here from the daily time frame. We can see that there was a low. This is a low. This is a low, right? And then this low was created from this high, right? In as much as we have internal high, but the visible high that created this low is this one that I mapped out here. And as you can see, the low that created this high is protected, right? Price didn't come to it until price took out this high. So this becomes the new low that we have. Are we expecting it to be taken out? It depends. For now, let's trade what we can understand and what we see. Now, look carefully. You see what we have? Are you seeing it? This becomes a low and this becomes what? A high. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to go down to another lower time frame to see what we have here. So for me, price has already mitigated a point. This is a point, a supply zone here. Price has already mitigated it after taking out series of liquidity. So what we have here now is price pulling back, right, to a point. Do we want to continue buying? Areas that we can continue buying from are this. This is an area where we can continue buying from, right? Okay, and also this area, and also this area, right? Good. These are possible areas to continue buying from, but this is daily time frame, and we don't want to wait till price gets to this point. So we go to 4 hours, right? You can go down. You can go to 6 hours, and so on and so forth. But I choose to go to 4 hours. Okay. See what we have here now. See what we have here. And if you understand the concept of liquidity, you get to know that, okay, what price has done here is it has validated the concept of liquidity that we have, making me not to be currently interested in this low that we have here if I must buy, right? And remember, price is coming from a supply zone. So if I must buy, this is where I expect price to come back to, exactly at this zone, right? Exactly at these zones. So what do I look out for to validate buys? I look out for um, imbalances and other blocks that are currently on that zones, if it has been mitigated or if it has what's it called, other conferences that can validate it for me to see it as a valid zone to buy from. So I'm going to zoom into it and see what we have. First of all, we have an internal movement. Price took out these highs, right? And now we are here. Then price is pulling back. Where is it possibly pulling back to? Price might possibly be pulling back to this area. Why? If you look closely, you notice that we have what? An imbalance here. Can you see that? Not only that, we have what? A sweep, a liquidity sweep here. Price already swept liquidity and tapped into what? Into this order that is here. So this is a valid zone for us to continue buying from if we must go higher, right? Okay. Watch closely. And what else? Look above here at where price is coming from. You can see that this rejection, where price is coming from, is as a result of a valid supply that's at the left side. And what do we have here? Price mitigated it and breaking down to the downside. So what are the valid zones where I can sell from if I must sell? This is a valid zone. Remember, I'm marking out these two zones only because price already mitigated the supply also. If price was still heading towards a supply, I don't have any reason why I should look for sales. So I'm marking it out because there are two possible zones where price can come to. So the one that it gets to first is what we expect price to react from, right? Okay. And to me, this what do we call it? This demand zone that we have here is it looks like a stronger one. Why? Because it has much more confluence than the one coming from the supply. How? There's a break of structure to the upside, a sweep, and what inducements there or liquidity, right? A break of structure, a sweep, and what a liquidity there. On this other side for the supply, do we have a sweep? No, there is no sweep. Do we have a break of structure? Yes, there is a break of structure. Okay, so now this becomes tougher than this, much more stronger than this. However, it doesn't invalidate that this can happen. Why? This is coming from a supply zone, right? So we also want to consider possible sells from this particular supply, right? So what next do I do? I'll try to go down to a lower time frame different from 4 hours. So what do I have here? So this is a sweep, first of all, as you can see here, and this 4 hours, right? So here, this is a sweep. You can see price swept this low and closed back into the range, giving us what? A push to the upside. So if I should go to 2 hours, let's see what we have here. Okay, nice, nice. Now look at what 2 hours is giving us. You can see that supply zone where I marked out. Price already mitigated what? An imbalance here. Price pushback and mitigated an imbalance. Gave us what? Another. And broke structure to the downside here. After breaking structure to the downside, now we have what? We have another that is there. And also, do not forget, this is another block. And also, what do we have here? We have a high that gave us what? An imbalance. If I should zoom in, you see a tiny imbalance there. Can you see that? There is an imbalance towards this place. So this is also showing us validity for this zone if we must trade it, right? We have seen a break and what a break of structure and what an inducement. So what we want to see is price coming, sweeping this high, reacting from this OP, then we'll sell because price is already coming from a supply zone. So we sell back into this what? Demand. And for the demand, if we must buy, I'll refine my entry to this point. Yeah, this is what it's going to look like. So these are the zones, or this is the zone where I expect price to come back to and react. So see what possible thing that we are going to have here. For the buys, we want price to come back here, right? And for the sells, we want it to come here. So basically, this is how I see the market, and this is what I'm going to do. So now, if I now start looking for how to check for entry points, that's when I'll now start confirming other things. But this only is enough for me to know what I'm going to do in the market, giving me the needed conferences that I wanted. You can see what I did. I went to a weekly time frame, broke down to daily time frame. After from weekly time frame is to confirm the direction of the market and to check if it has gotten to where it is headed to. Remember, this is only because market has gotten to a supply zone, a value supply zone, and giving us a reaction. That's why I'm considering sales. If it hasn't done that, it means that the buys that I'm looking for is only what I'm sticking to. Right now, market is giving me two opportunities. It's either I decide to sell or I wait for the buys to mitigate before I buy. Okay, good. All right. So if I must look for entries here, what do I do? You can decide to check further. So this is giving me a very nice entry. So this is what my sell setup is going to look like. Can decide to just protect this high or to just leave it a little bit space and target these lows and target here. So this is just going to give me a simple 3 ratio 5, right? 3 ratio 5. And for my buys, this is what I'm going to have. Remember, this is just for basic entries, right? I advise you keep it simple for now until we start doing advanced patterns. So this is what I'll do for my buys, and this is going to give me what? uh, 1 ratio 5. If I should refine, I'm going to get more ratios, but this is what it looks like. If I sell to this point, I'll wait for the buys, then I can buy. Why didn't I sell down to the buy and buy to the high? The reason why I didn't do that is because this confluence that I have for my sales are not is not an enough confluence for me to hold down these cells down to this point, right? So if I had gotten something like what I have here, a sweep, a break of structure, an inducement, then I can consider it, yes, strong one. But this is just what a break of structure, inducement, and that's it. So that's why I want to consider the nearest range that looks much more liquid enough for market to get to. Okay. So, guys, this is what it looks like. And cheers. See you guys in the next video. If you have your question, do not forget to drop it in the comment section. I'm going to explain it very detailed. Just in case you don't understand any, do not forget to like, also subscribe, and share to your friends. Once again, my name is Myros. See you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Bye bye.